Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Stephanie and myself, we're back and we have another great cooking at home segment for you. We're going to make some delicious recipes. Stephanie, how's it going?
I'm great. All right. So the focus of today's class is going to particularly be on, eating when you're experiencing any type of GI issues. So often, after pelvic radiation or any type of radiation to the abdominal pelvis area, individuals tend to find that they experience diarrhea. And the nutrition tips sometimes can be counterintuitive to what usual eating well looks like. Okay, and so I always advise people that it's really important to do what's right for you. And eating well can look different depending on the different side effects and symptoms that somebody is experiencing. So that's really important to kind of understand right off the top. So generally speaking, we want a diet that's high in fiber, lots of vegetables and fruit and whole grains, right? This is something that is plant-based, very recommended with the Mediterranean type style diet. However, individuals who are experiencing diarrhea, certain vegetables and fruit and whole grains can actually make symptoms worse. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is specifically foods that you can incorporate lots of vegetables and grains into your diet, but we need to make sure that we're doing the right types. And therefore, we want to focus on the ones that are soluble fiber. Okay, so the way I think about it is that it soaks in the water and helps slow down the movement of the bowels. Okay, so when we think of soluble fiber, we think of things like bananas, oats, taking away the skin and seeds of any vegetables and fruit. So working with that, Jeremy and I created a few recipes to really focus on these soluble fibers. So let us know what you did, Jer.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, first recipe that we're going to be talking about is a summer barley salad. So barley, I mean, the most common thing you probably hear of is in soups, barley soup. But it's a really nice as a cold application as well. And we're going to make this really nice salad with that nice chewy texture of the barley. Now, speaking of the barley, I'm going to bring you in over here. So we are using pot barley. No, sorry, we are using pearl barley. Now, there is a difference between the two. And Steph, maybe, I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So again, when we're focusing on foods to eat for those experiencing diarrhea, you want to focus on foods that are higher in soluble fiber as opposed to insoluble fiber. And pearl barley tends to have more of that soluble fiber. Also, oats have that soluble fiber. Other times, actually, it might be better for people to have white rice or refined grains, okay? And in this case, it's because it helps make those symptoms a little bit more at ease, which again can be difficult for people to kind of understand because that goes contradictory to what we are usually told what is healthy eating. Okay, so again, really understanding and emphasizing the fact that eating well, it might look a little bit different when you're experiencing side effects. And once these side effects go away, then you can incorporate other whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. But for the moment, we want to choose those grains that are higher in soluble fiber like pearl barley.
Yes, so that's what we're using today. So we're using pearl barley. Now pearl, even just from the name, is the pearling of the grain, and that's actually removing a lot of that bran and a lot of that husk on the outside, whereas the pot barley is going to have that intact. So in terms of cooking time, pot barley is going to take a lot longer to cook, whereas pearl barley is going to be a lot quicker to cook. And so that's what we're using today is the pearl barley. You can boil it for about 20-25 minutes, and then it's done. You drain it, and it's good to go. You can use it in soups. You can use it in, veggie stir fries, or like today, we're going to use it in a really nice summer salad. So there's the pearl barley ready to go. And from the vegetable point of view, that's also important, right, Steph? We want to choose some of the vegetables that are going to be better.
Yeah, totally. So, you know, I always get a lot of clients who discuss that, you know, having like that, you know, they've been told that they have to, you know, remove vegetables. However, there are certain vegetables that are higher automatically in soluble fiber, and you want to aim to have those. So the ones that Jeremy has on the plate, you know, you have some yellow zucchini, your red peppers, and carrots. So those are really great. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that usually the skin tends to be higher in that insoluble fiber. So you think about insoluble fiber, it doesn't soak up the water, and so it makes diarrhea worse. Okay, so I believe Jeremy has used the barbecue in a certain technique to actually remove the skin of the red pepper because they tend to be thicker. The zucchini is okay, but zucchini does have those seeds, so you'd have to remove those.
Yeah, great point, Steph. Yeah, so first with the pepper, we just have a red pepper here. And by grilling it on the barbecue, and you can do this in the oven too and just throw it under the broiler, what we're trying to do is to actually char or blister the outside skin of that pepper, as you can see here. And what that does is as it cools, it's gonna allow it to separate from the actual flesh of the pepper a lot easier. And removing that insoluble part of the pepper that Steph talked about. Okay. Now, again, this takes a little bit of extra work, but you can also buy like jarred roasted red peppers, and those already have the skins and the seeds removed. And so those are already ready to go for you as well. So make it easy if it's either jarred, but if you want to spend some time outside, you know, enjoy the nice weather, grilling up some peppers is always a fun activity, right? Okay, so skin's removed and you can see really nice and soft and the pepper is ready to go.
Yeah. And often people, you know, feel disappointed a little bit that they can't have those leafy green salads. And yes, kale and spinach tend to be higher in insoluble fiber and will make diarrhea worse. So today we're offering, you know, an option where you can still have a nice colorful salad, right? You're getting the colors of the rainbow, which is what you want to focus on, but you're aiming for those vegetables that have the soluble fiber and which will help control those bowel movements and making kind of stools less watery.
Perfect. Okay, so I just roughly diced up the peeled roasted peppers, and then like Steph mentioned, we're also using some zucchini. I do have some yellow and some green zucchini here. The skins are fine, but again, like Steph mentioned, the bigger zucchini, you're going to find a little bit more of the seeds collecting in the middle, so that's something that you want to remove. The smaller zucchini, they're usually either not really there or they're very small, but you can just take a spoon and scrape any of those seeds out from the inside. So we have some zucchini, we have some peppers, and then we're going to use some carrot as well. And because the zucchini and the peppers are roasted, they're nice and soft. So with the carrot, all I'm going to do is actually just use a cheese grater. And I'm just going to run it through the cheese grater just so we do have some really nice texture, but it's not too hard or crunchy in there with the rest of the salad.
And often, again, like, you know, everybody is different, okay? So you might find that actually, you know, you're okay with the skin of the red pepper, right? But you're not okay with the skin of a tomato, okay? So there is a little bit of trial and error that needs to kind of happen. And kind of going through, but generally speaking, removing the skin from like a tomato or a red pepper will help removing any of those seeds because those are all those insoluble fiber. But really, you know, you're still able to enjoy your vegetables as well. It's just in a different way.
Okay, so all of those cut up vegetables and the grated carrot, I'm just going to add to our bowl here. anytime you're tossing, dressing a salad, especially a big salad, try to find the biggest bowl you have. And I say this from experiences. I tend to choose the smallest bowl, and then it just makes a mess everywhere. Dressing in a bigger bowl is just going to make it a little bit cleaner and allow you to evenly dress everything. Okay, so really colorful, right? We're going to add that cooked pearl barley in there, and that's going to give us this really nice sort of chewiness texture. Beautiful. Toss that around, and then we're going to add some flavor. So for our dressing, we're going to keep it fairly simple. I have some herbs here, and you can use dried or fresh. In the summer, it's nice, if you can, grab some fresh. And I have just a mix here of actually some mint and some basil leaves. And we're going to show you a little technique with this. So if you grab each of the leaves and just sort of layer them on each other here, it's just going to make it easier to slice. So we'll layer them on. You can start with the biggest and then work your way down to some of the smaller guys. Kind of keep them intact. So we have this like little pile of leaves here, and then try to roll them up. Okay. And then with your knife, we're going to cut across into these nice little ribbons or strips of the herb. And then maybe we'll just cross cut those. So we have this really nice sort of chiffonade, they call, or strips of herbs in there. And as you cut through them, I mean, you can smell the mint and the basil, super, super fresh.
Yeah, and often, sometimes people complain about the different taste changes. So you really want to try to boost flavor with, herbs and spices. Now, often our go-to are like onion and garlic. Now, for those experiencing diarrhea, this can be problematic because that could actually make it worse. So again, it's not for everybody, but it is one of the ones that when we look at the research and all those foods, it tends to exacerbate it. So I do always recommend experimenting with eliminating for a day or two just to see how that works for you. But as Jeremy is really, really showcasing, is that your food could be really, really tasty without your usual go-tos. So kind of trying to have more herbs and spices like basil and mint can really be helpful.
Beautiful, awesome. So I just added a little bit of olive oil and I had red wine vinegar. You can even use balsamic vinegar. You can use lemon juice, whatever works for you. And then season it a little pinch of salt and pepper and mix it together well. And again, like you have that roasted pepper, the zucchini, those vegetables that are going to have a little bit more of that sort of cooked, charred, concentrated character, but then those fresh herbs and a little bit of that vinegar as well is going to brighten everything up. And that's it. Super simple.
Beautiful.
Summer barley salad with some roasted peppers, zucchini, and of course that pearl barley. Awesome. Thank you guys.